Bridget, thank you so much for joining us here at Super Return International. Always a pleasure to see you. And you're here with 5,000 of your colleagues this year, the biggest one ever. What an environment to be in to share ideas.
I know, it's phenomenal. I'm looking forward to opening the conference tomorrow and to chairing the session. And we literally have trillions of dollars represented here. It's amazing. Just continues to grow and grow, this event.
It's been such a tumultuous period for both economic kind of outlook and geopolitical outlook. There's so many macro factors playing into that. How has this industry been navigating that, and where do you see now the greatest opportunities in those terms for value creation?
I think one of the fantastic things about private equity is it's just such an innovative and agile industry. And we've seen funds really navigate this, as you say, tumultuous environment very successfully, and just find innovative and creative ways to make money. And as we've talked about before, we're very much in that value creation phase of private equity today. So I think there's huge opportunities there, and particularly as we were discussing earlier around GenAI.
Absolutely. AI is a huge topic at the conference this year. It's on the top of the agendas on many of the panel sessions. And what's your view on that? How can it sort of help this industry, and what are its best use cases going to be?
We've been in the value creation phase of private equity for quite a while now. You know, the days of buying cheap and selling high were over. So you've got to own well. And GenAI is a big part of that. And when we look across our client base in EY, private equity is really at the forefront of driving change with GenAI. And I think it's just going to supercharge the value creation era and philosophy that private equity has already been in.
How well is the industry adopting it, and where do you see progress still to be made, if you like?
I think we're at the start of the journey, but private equity in their usual way has really embraced this, got their teams educated, and are already starting to really bring it into their everyday business. Funds are using it to streamline their back office operations, also in terms of how they deliver returns and information to investors. So I think at the fund level, we're seeing a lot happening there. I think the huge opportunity is at the portfolio level, where funds are using GenAI to really drive more productivity enhancements. And there's some great examples of that already. And also top line growth, whether it's sales and marketing, using those GenAI tools. And again, we're already seeing some of those improvements come through. And that's where private equity funds are turning to our consultants most in this GenAI space.
I mean, the sort of progress and efficiency you talked about there actually leads to improved liquidity even. You know, that sort of efficiency that can be built in and intrinsic, not just a layer on top of AI. It's going to be absolutely innate in business.
You're absolutely right. I think you are right. It will enhance liquidity in the long run, because it's going to run through absolutely everything a private equity fund does, how they assess an investment. And actually, one of the main calls we're now getting in the due diligence phase is, will GenAI totally disrupt this business model, or is it going to be a huge enabler to supercharge this business?
Absolutely, because it's a factor in the portfolio companies themselves as well, isn't it?
Correct.
So looking forward to, with that in mind, have you seen use cases already where this has made a real difference in real terms?
We've seen some productivity savings already. Call center technology, anywhere where you can drive efficiencies when you're dealing with customers, lots of savings there. Machine learning, when contracts, supplier agreements, huge efficiencies already going through those parts of the business. Huge focus also on data. Although GenAI can add to enhancements, you need the quality of the underlying data to be improved. And there's been a lot of demand for our scans of data in portfolio companies, and then working with those portfolio companies to enhance the data before you add the GenAI layer on top.
You genuinely sound excited about
I am excited about this. I am. I'm investing a lot of my time myself because I just see the opportunity, and it's right there on all of my clients' agendas. So you picked that up well.
It's nice to feel that optimism when it has been a tough period for everyone, hasn't it?
As I say, it has been a tough period, but in my 20 years in private equity, this industry is just so resilient. And I think why I love having a career in it is private equity just finds innovative ways around problems. And we've seen this industry evolve through, the financial crisis, through different phases. And, GenAI is another example of how they are embracing something probably faster than the rest of the world.
you're going to be here with 5,000 of your global colleagues. What conversations do you hope to have, and what do you hope to take away from Super Return International this year?
I think it's always great to come along to one of these conferences and just hear how people are thinking. You know, a few years ago, people were really talking about ESG. I remember last year we had Jenny Johnson on stage talking about, you know, the rise of the retail investor. So I think hearing firsthand from the leaders in our industry about the trends, what they're seeing, what they're driving is so important. It's just a fantastic event.
Well, I'm sure they all relished the opportunity to see you as well, Bridget. Thank you so much for joining us.
Not at all. Thank you.